I absolutely think going into the tournament that Germany, is one of the favorites. I mean, one of the big talking points of this World Cup is that no European team has won a World Cup that's been hosted in a South American country. And, you can kind of see right now, with teams like England, Italy, Spain, Croatia, all going out and crashing out. And there's quite a few South American teams and teams from CONCACAF, the U.S.'s region of the world, that are going through. But, going in, you always think Germany's going to perform very well because, it's kind of expectations for them. It's, a World Cup title or bust. So, they kind of touched on it in the broadcast that Joachim Löw is under, kind of immense pressure. But, it's just because people expect so much of Germany, and I don't know if it's maybe not being talked about as much just because, it's kind of what everybody's come to expect from the Germans, to put together a fantastic 90 minutes every single game. But, they're definitely deadly going forward.
Before we get to what's next for the USA team and Germany, since they're both coming out of the same group, let's talk about the MLS players on this United States team. I believe it's 26 or 27 players are MLS affiliated or have played in the MLS in their time. Ian, what does this mean for the Major League Soccer scene, really? The league, what it's in right now, for how successful this team has been?
Yeah, I mean, it's immense. If you look at people, like our own Kyle Beckerman. 4 years ago, he didn't have a look in at the World Cup squad. Yet, he just kept doing what he was doing for RSL. Jurgen Klinsmann noticed it, really appreciated the kind of dirty job that Kyle Beckerman does. As a defensive midfielder, you don't really get any accolades because you're stuck back defending and doing the dirty work. But I think it's, massive just to see how many MLS players started for the U.S. today. I believe it was 6 or 7, which was a record. I think last World Cup in South Africa, there were 2 or 4 on the whole squad, the whole 23-man squad.
Wow.
So, I think it's a big thing to, point to Jurgen Klinsmann that he's not afraid to, take from the league that's at home. I think it shows that the league has come a long ways in just 4 years.
Landon Donovan left off the team this year. He's an announcer for ESPN during the World Cup. You think in the back of his mind he didn't want to see USA reach the round of 16 by being cut?
No, I think, with Landon Donovan, he gets a lot of scrutiny here in Salt Lake, obviously, with LA being one of our big rivals.
Yes.
But, at the end of the day, if you put rivalries aside, he's, a quality player. And, no matter what, love him or hate him, you can't really fault him. He loves the U.S. He loves the team, even if he's not there. So I think, yes, he really misses being there. Maybe he thinks he could have done a little bit better and helped the team out a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think he still supports him 110%.
Ian Thompson at Sports at Home FC is joining the program right now. And what's next for the United States in the round of 16? Who do they got next?
So it all depends on the games going on right now in Group H. But the way it's looking right now is that Belgium will be the ones coming out on top of the group. So unless something crazy happens and Algeria they're actually losing right now to Russia 1-0.
Yep.
So, if Algeria was able to come back, get the 3 points, Belgium was able to lose, and Algeria had a superior goal difference, then we could play Algeria. But the way it's looking right now, we'll be matching up against Belgium. Germany will be taking on Algeria or Russia, depending on how the Russia game finishes out.
What's that matchup looking like for the next round if it is Belgium for the United States? How likely what's the matchup difference? What's the big concern the USA has to look at if they play Belgium in the next round?
Going up against Belgium, I think, is definitely going to be interesting. It'll be a very, very, very difficult matchup just because Belgium is loaded with so many quality players. If you look at their squad, they have fantastic players like Marouane Fellaini, Jan Vertonghen, Vincent Kompany. He's injured right now. Their goalkeeper is fantastic, Thibaut Courtois. He played for Atletico Madrid this year and played in the Champions League final and has had an outstanding season. They have players like Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, Lukaku. They're just loaded. A lot of their attacking talent could provide, quite a difficult test for the U.S. defenders especially. So, if that's the matchup that happens, it's going to be very, very open game. I think we'll see lots and lots of goals, and hopefully we can come away with something, though, because it'd be amazing to see us go through even further than anybody ever thought.
Most likely, the next matchup would be against. In my eyes, I think the best team in the World Cup is Argentina. Messi's playing out of his mind. We've talked about it over the weekend. Is he like a Jordan aspect? You know, he had a game-winning goal in the second game, 2 goals last game. Is Argentina the biggest threat right now in the World Cup in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, going in, I thought Argentina would probably be the winners of the World Cup. And, you know, even Messi saying right now that Argentina is not at full strength, you know, they haven't really hit their peak yet is kind of frightening, especially, you know, it was a great game yesterday against Nigeria. Nigeria had a fantastic effort against Argentina. But, I mean, if Messi is saying, you know, we still have another notch to take it up, then I am, you know, even more frightened of Argentina than I was before. So I guess, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Their game against Switzerland could be a very good one, but I think it'll be an easy matchup for Argentina.
So, Messi, I asked you over the weekend, is he kind of like Michael Jordan in his time in soccer? Just rephrase that what you told me over the weekend. Is he like Michael Jordan in his prime?
You know, I absolutely think so. I mean, you know, you throw Michael Jordan into pretty much any team, and he's going to help them, if not get to a title, you know, make a dang good run at it. And, you know, I think you can see with Messi the great success that Barcelona has had over the, you know, past 10 years or so. You know, he's just an amazing player. He's able to do amazing things that nobody else really can do. You know, he and Ronaldo both are, of course, you know, there's arguments for both to be the best player in the world. But, you know, in my opinion, Messi just, you know, is able to do so much more with, you know, less speed than Ronaldo has. You know, that's the big thing Ronaldo has is speed and strength. And Messi, you know, he's a little guy, and, you know, he doesn't have that blessing of intense pace or anything. So he's able to do magical things with the ball, and, you know, I think that's a pretty fair comparison.
His grandfather on Bleacher Report told everybody in the world that his grandson, Messi, hasn't been playing very good soccer. You think he's just trying to do that to try to get under his skin to make him play better? Or you think that's just a grandpa being a grandpa?
You know, it may be, you know, trying to get something out of Messi. I mean, other than his goals, you know, some of the games he's been rather quiet, which is unlike him. But I think it's, you know, the role he plays for Argentina. He's their captain. And, you know, it might seem like a small thing, but wearing that captain's armband can definitely change the game and, you know, maybe weigh a little bit more on you. But, you know, I think, you know, there is another notch of Messi that maybe we have yet to see at this World Cup, where he totally just dominates a game. So, you know, maybe it is just his grandfather just, you know, trying to get a rise out of him and, you know, maybe spur him on to that next level.
Ian Thompson's our guest at Sports Home FC, joining us just for a couple more minutes right here on the David Vito Show on Sports at Home. And the most disappointing team in the in the World Cup is who?
If you ask me, it would be England. I mean, I'm partial to England, obviously, but they've just had kind of a dreadful campaign. Them, and I would probably say Spain, and you could even lump Italy in there. I mean, they're all three, you know, teams with fantastic histories. Obviously, Spain coming off as the 2010 World Cup winner. They won the previous 2 European competitions as well. And, you know, they kind of just went out without any kind of a fight. It, you know, started off with that spanking by the Netherlands, 5-1, and then they just never really recovered. When you look, Chile beat them 2-0, and, you know, then they finally managed to beat Australia 3-0, but, you know, it was kind of a nothing game. So, I mean, Spain, you know, definitely, probably top of the list for everybody else, but for me it would be England just because, you know, my ties to them and everything, so.
What was Spain's biggest concern this year? I mean, everyone picked them to go pretty far, and a lot of people, in your eyes too, think this is the biggest disappointment in the World Cup we've seen in a while. What just didn't go right for Spain this year?
You know, it's a good question. I mean, their defense was obviously very shaky, but, you know, aside from that victory against Australia that meant nothing, their forwards never really did anything either. Iker Casillas made, you know, a couple of horrific mistakes in goal, but, you know, I think it was just the overall team effort. You know, I don't think they were all there. I don't think they were all bought in to what Del Bosque was trying to do. I don't know why this World Cup is any different than the previous World Cup in 2010 or the, you know, 2 Euros, but, you know, for some reason something just seemed off in that locker room.
Ian, let's get you out with this question right here. Ian Thompson again, at Sports at Home FC on Twitter. We've been following the World Cup. Outstanding coverage. Give him a follow for all the latest news and notes on the World Cup right now, including the USA going into the round of 16 next Tuesday, as they'll play most likely Belgium, as Ian was saying. Kyle Beckerman, Nick Rimando, two of the biggest key factors for RSL, are over there in the World Cup right now. RSL's been struggling since them being gone, but when they get back, how much confidence do you think they're going to bring to this RSL ball club when they come back from Brazil?
I think they're going to bring, immense relief to the team. Those two, obviously Kyle Beckerman's their captain. You could argue Nick Rimando would make a great captain as well. So I think getting those two back, even just in the locker room, I think they're able to do a lot of motivation with some of the younger guys that, maybe have struggled while they've been away. So I'm definitely excited for them to get back. Obviously, if they want to stay until the 13th of July and win that World Cup final, I would not be against it. The MLS season is a long season, so
yes, it is.
It'll be nice to have them back, but, I wish them all the success that they, can encounter in Brazil and hope they enjoy the experience.
Beckerman, isn't he such a key part to this USA team right now? I mean, I watched him today. That guy's running everywhere. He's touching the ball nearly every possession. He's been a really big key to the USA team, hasn't he?
Absolutely, and, it's the guy's very first World Cup ever. I mean, watching it, you would think this is maybe his second or third. I mean, he hasn't been fazed by anything, especially going up against the juggernauts in Germany. He's, kept a level head. He's played fantastically well. And I think that's, credit to him, credit to the staff at RSL. They've kind of put him in that type of a role, and, Jurgen Klinsmann has really noticed it, and it's paid dividends for the U.S. team.
Ian, we've kept you we kept you away from soccer too long doing this interview with us. Thank you for being part of the show today, and we'll get you on, hopefully, as USA continues to roll in the World Cup.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.
Ian Thompson at Sports Home FC on Twitter. Latest news on soccer, World Cup, RSL, and much more inside and outside the country. Jesse, me and you were watching the game today, the World Cup today action. USA did lose. We're watching it, and it's just, I watched the game. Germany really attacked a lot of the offensive possession today, and USA, even though they lost, everyone was just cheering because they're going to the round of 16.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch that game. I mean, we were watching it, and you know how soccer is. It's a little...
Yeah.
It's fast-paced, but then slow-paced when it comes to scoring the goals.
Yes, it is.
And there was a few times where USA was so close, just right there, scoring. But then in the long run, in the end, it didn't matter.
Yep.
It was like a win-win. So
a 1-0 loss to Germany today as well. They're going on to the round of 16. Their history in the World Cup hasn't been great. People don't take the USA soccer seriously, Jesse. And I think this year, with them being in a tough group, they fought their way out of it. They tied Ghana, a team they've never really beat in their history. Tie Portugal, lose to Germany, a really good team to get it today. Soccer is starting to evolve more in America. Would you agree?
Yeah, I believe so. And it's a tough sport for us because it is a worldwide sport. There's a lot of countries out there that got their stuff on the point, and like you were saying, not many people really watch what we do with our soccer. I mean, there's people out there that says they're better off watching the women's soccer USA because we have
they're usually better.
They're better. We have championships with them. But
as I was on the air with Ian Thompson, news just broke on my phone about the Utah Jazz and the NBA draft right now. They're seriously thinking about drafting Marcus Smart at the number 5 position, according to Yahoo Sports. The NBA draft's tonight. I'm heading over there after this, like I told you guys to start the show. It's going to be exciting to see what the Utah Jazz can do this year, Jesse. And Marcus Smart's a player that people are saying, no, don't draft him. Him and Trey Burke can't play together. But in my eyes, I like Marcus Smart. I think he's a good shooter. And you're losing Gordon Hayward most likely, where he's going to be a restricted free agent. The Jazz can match any offer. But the Jazz might be even thinking about moving up to get the number 1 pick today to grab Jabari Parker. Rumors are going around that Jabari Parker is trying to pull an Eli Manning type of thing, Jesse. I know you're a big football guy, where Eli Manning didn't want to play with the San Diego Chargers. Sounds like Jabari Parker doesn't want to play in Cleveland right now. Sounds like he tanked his workout. In your eyes, we've seen Eli Manning do it in the past. Is it okay for players not to say, hey, I don't want to play there because of the city or the team? Or is it kind of unfair to the team drafting him?
I think it's stupid in a sense, but then again, they can do whatever they want. to me,
Kinda.
it's
Kinda.
yeah, it's kind